Look, I guess from my perspective, there's, I just don't fit. Not here, just in general. If you look at it through the prism of, I'm a failed manager who's lucky to get this job, and you're smirking at me, but that's what's been said, right? And I can find the print that's actually that said. Then, of course, this first 5 weeks looks like this guy's under pressure. There is an alternative story that you can look at it. And I'm not directing this at you, you just asked the question. You're first off the block. I came into the Premier League 2 years ago. I took over Tottenham, Spursy Tottenham. I was told by the chairman at the time, this club has to win a trophy. Has to win a trophy. He said, we've tried to bring winners in. Jose Antonio hasn't worked. We need something different. I was slightly offended by that because I see myself as a winner. I took over Spurs, they finished 8th. No European football. Big club, massive club, no European football. Can't go 2 years without European football. We finished 5th my first year. And every time Harry Kane scores a goal, I wish he just stayed one more year. Yeah? It would have been handy to have him after finishing 5th. But somehow that year has disappeared from the record books. In fact, it was used as a reason for me losing my job because even Tottenham decided to exclude the first 10 games because they were an anomaly, apparently. Although the first 10 games here are very important, apparently. But anyway, we finished 5th. I got them back into European football, which a club like Tottenham should be. And again, I was in meetings and people who are still at that club were in those meetings where I was told winning a trophy is everything for this football club. That's fine. We win a trophy. We shed the tag of being Spursy. It's Champions League football, which brings some rewards, the opportunity to bring better players. But all I've heard since I've finished at Tottenham is that we finished 17th last year. So if you look at it from that prism of we finished 17th, then yeah, I'm a failed manager who was lucky to get another opportunity. But again, if I have to explain why we finished 17th, really, some basic, it doesn't have to be too in-depth. Just have a look at the last 5 or 6 team sheets of us in the league last year and see what I prioritised, who was on the bench, who was playing. The last game against Brighton, the players were out partying for 2 days, which I sanctioned because I felt they deserved to. So yes, we finished 17th. If people think that's a reflection of me and my coaching, then again, I think they're looking at it through the prism of I just don't fit. So we get to the current space where there's a different story to tell, that maybe I'm not a failed manager who was lucky to get this job, but maybe I'm a manager that if you give them time, the story always ends the same. At all my previous clubs, it ends the same with me and a trophy. So just to finish up, and it's a long-winded answer, which probably won't get any coverage, but that's okay. You can look at this first 5 weeks and say, he's under pressure because he has to, he was lucky to get this job. Or you can look at it and say, well, there's been a major change. I am trying to change the way we play. The players are adapting, but there's inconsistency in there for sure. But some will look at the weeds, I'll look at what's growing, and I think... So the flip side of that is that I'm really still excited about the opportunity here.